Let me tell you why you're here. You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life.
Hats.
Yeah, hi. Is there a snake in the room? There is a snake in the room. It's you.
Yeah. No, no.
Brendo.
You know what that is? That's the fresh air now going into your new nose.
Ah, it is a new
Hats.
nose. I have a new nose, but it still sound a bit nasal. I think I'll always sound a bit nasal.
I don't
Do you not sound?
find you too nasal.
Thanks. That's the best job line I've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better. It is better. I can breathe.
And it's only going to get better. Yeah,
it should do. Yeah.
Did they give you a bit of a? All right.
Have we actually genuinely started here?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Will they give you an actual kind of right in 6 weeks? You should be at full. You know, the best you're going to get kind of thing. Or
Sorry, champ, you're not going to look any better than that.
yeah.
What did they say? I have to wear that. You know the thing I just showed you, the
Yeah,
stupid nose thing. I have to wear that through the night for I think it is 6 weeks, and then I have to go back and see the guy in about 12 weeks to check that I don't know the inside works or something. I don't know.
The good thing is
I'm terrible medically, mate. I don't know. I just go along and I nod my head and say thanks very much.
True. All right, we are back in the garage, mate.
I know it's been a while.
It's been a long time. How long do you think it's actually been?
Since I think it's been since I stuck that letter to the wall.
Yes.
Do you want to tell people?
Yes. Well, we did talk about it. I think it was a
we
fake infringement notice because Hats and I have got this $50 that we think we owe each other, and
one of us is going to need that desperately at some point.
Yeah, neither of us.
Nothing.
Neither of us are accepting it, so it is now stuck on the brick wall, and our first piece of art, Bitcoin art, really, because it
I
says
suppose it is. Yeah.
by Bitcoin written across it.
It's a bit Tracy Emin, but you know it's not very good.
Tracy Emin.
Was she not the woman who made the unmade bed? Remember that art, so-called art?
Oh man, God,
modern art. I don't know. I keep meaning to do. No, I'm not going to say this, but anybody, because I'm going to do it and tweet it. But but modern art's funny. It's for if you like it, you like it. Knock yourself out.
Oh, you know the worst example for me was the banana taped to the wall.
Yes, that's
fucking stupid.
What was that? Somebody having it? I don't even remember. Was that actually somebody having a go at modern art, or was that somebody making an attempt?
No, I think that was in a gallery or something. Or maybe not. Maybe if someone came along and stuck it on there, and then people were like,
laughed,
"Oh wow!"
Put a camera on the corner and watched all these
hoity-toity people going, "Oh, what does this represent?
What does it mean? It means it's it doesn't mean anything. You moron."
But you know what? That said, I don't know. I do like odd art as well. So if I go to a gallery and there's something kind of really outlandishly weird, I just go, "That's cool."
I once went to the. This is not going to be talking about Bitcoin. Sorry,
I didn't think we were going to be talking about art at all. But anyway,
no, I'm not.
That's how it works.
But I once went to Modern Art Gallery in Edinburgh, and a guy, an exhibitor. I don't remember his name. Sorry, Mister. I think it was a man though. These days, who knows? But he had at the entrance. The entrance was like maybe two levels. Might have even be 3 levels. Not sure. But it was like it was almost like a war memorial, when you see all the names listed down. And a guy had tried to think of the name of every person he'd ever met. I know. That blew me away, actually. And I was like, and there was hundreds of names on this, maybe
kind of chiseled out on a
it was like engraved, like it was
like
a war memorial tower or something like that.
Epitaph or whatever.
But it was just people random names, and didn't know context as to where he met them or whatever, just random names. And I mean, who knows?
How many did he have?
I mean, hundreds.
Wow.
Hundreds and hundreds. But I just thought, oh my God, imagine first of all, thinking it and then trying to do it. That'd be a nightmare.
And also thinking, that's my next art piece.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it takes a certain level of wanker to come out with it. But even I do respect the what's the word I'm looking for? And this is not making a good start here.
Oh, doesn't matter.
Modern art, there you go. So we're modern artists.
Yeah.
We'll take a picture, sell an NFT, and we'll be rich. Do you like what I did there? Nice little segue.
Nice.
Into full shit.
Man, I have been, and I've said this the last few pods, I've been kind of really not on Twitter that much. and even more so.
You keep saying this, and I'm like, oh, good.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about? Is this an absolute conscious effort, or you're just not enjoying it as much, or what?
No, I'm just. It's not a conscious effort at all. I'm just. I don't know. It's not that I can't be fucked. I can't be bothered. But like when I go in, I don't do the full scroll. I'll usually just hit home.
The doom scroll.
Goes. Yeah, no. I just hit home and then I scroll. I've got whatever the setting is, and I'll just scroll down for the few latest.
Yeah, I do. Do you
so
do that?
Miss,
do you do
I'd
latest
miss so many.
I don't like there's two. There's like latest and like promoted or something.
Or suggested or something
Whatever.
like that. Yeah.
Fuck you, Twitter. I'm having latest. If I want to follow somebody, I'm following them. I'm not following Twitter.
Yeah.
Or what you Twitter thinks. Yeah, so I think that's the better way to do it.
I've got no idea what's going on. And the other cool thing that I kind of only noticed this week is
you say other cool, like there was another one, but go on.
Yeah. It was or is that I'm not checking the Bitcoin price nearly as much. And I don't know if that's because I'm now at a stage where
it's gone down.
Yeah, possibly it might be that. Like, and I was trying to go, well, why is that? Am I just not interested? You know, my conviction is such that I'm like, well, it is what it is, or is it just not as exciting? So if the price was going to run, would I then start going, oh, what is it up to now?
So yeah, you'd probably. Well, that's a good way to be. Like, you're probably not checking the price for the same reason as you're not checking Twitter. It's just not as fun just now. Like, I guess
so. Yeah.
This is the build, slog, patience phase, and that's dull.
Oh,
I mean, it's not dull. It's brilliant. This is the time.
Yes.
We have to. If you can enjoy this time, I had to tweet it the other day. One of my tweets. Like, learn to love the beer. If you can learn to love the beer,
yeah.
That's good because you can just sort of laugh at people at this point. Not laugh at people. I don't mean laugh at people. I mean laugh at.
Catan said this week. He goes, "What was it? Oh, take note of the people that have on Twitter that have gone quiet."
Oh, I saw that. So I immediately just to make sure he knew it wasn't me.
Well, no, but I said, "Did you see my reply?" I went,
"No, I didn't."
Hey, that's me.
Oh, really? Oh, really? Well, yeah. I mean, it is. I mean, I even see it on the well, maybe people hate us, but I see it on the pod as well. Like, you see, we've died a little bit with the price. It's because people are just not as interested, which is understandable because they're like, oh, this is not going to work. Like normies, right?
Yep.
This is clearly it's dead again.
Yep.
So why would I spend any of my time listening to these two idiots, right?
So what happens then? Because you've obviously been in longer than me when we inevitably go into a bull cycle.
Well, you and I become heroes of
normies. No. But what happens as far as content goes generally across pods and all that kind of stuff? But is it like the education piece sort of starts again? So all the stuff about security and even home mining and cold storage, all that kind of stuff, then gets spouted again, because it's not like normies are then going to come along and scroll back 2 years.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
In terms of a podcast, so the short answer is, I think, is that everything. Go ask, like Ethan, or go ask, Daniel, or go ask, guys at an exchange. Yeah. When they'll tell you that things get busy for them when the price starts to run.
Yes.
Right. But. That's the same. I'm guessing that's the same across. It was to be the same for Steve Barber with whatever the box is. It'll be the same for all the education guys. It'll be the same for all of us. Everything will get busier, and that's when the stress comes on the system. Like, not for us particularly, but for other folks that have got. Like, if you are running an exchange and all of a sudden you're having to deal with like 100 new customers every 10 minutes, that becomes a stressful thing. Good, it's a good stress, but it's busy.
But that's where something like Looking Glass really becomes invaluable, because it's there as a resource, or sailor.org or whatever.
Yeah.
Or hope.com. What's the one that with the
what we're talking to with Merrick, Bitcoin for Everyone, Sailor Academy.
Yeah, isn't it hope.com or something?
Does hope.com go to Sailor Academy?
I don't know. Anyway,
it might do. Anyway, go to Sailor Academy.
So yeah, those resources are there statically, I suppose. So they're always there to just access.
Yes, and the good thing about things like plug Looking Glass, plug Sailor Academy, is that they are sort of more than a podcast. It's a much more timeless material. Whereas a lot of the podcasts, you'll be like, oh well, I've not listened to Matt and Marty, and it's 14 days old now, so probably wait for the next one or whatever. Then that kind of thought process.
Yep.
That's not true of the education places. So yeah, I think in a bull cycle, everything gets busier. In a bear, eventually people lose interest apart from the actual Bitcoiners, and then the real Bitcoiners are actually out there building things.
Yes.
Who am I to say real Bitcoiner? But you know what I mean? Like the actual competent ones are out there making stuff, right?
The competent, passionate ones.
Yeah. And this is the like. It's in some ways it's good because it's like they get that quiet period to actually just focus on the project, right?
Yeah.
Rather than
everything goes quiet. Totally.
I mean, we all get caught up in the hype. There's no doubt, and that's why the DCA is good because it sort of abstracts that away from you as well. It takes away your fear and greed, and it just keeps you at a sort of boring, steady line, which ultimately will work out well for you. But it's you don't the bull and bear is not helpful to you. You just, but it's very hard not to get excited when you wake up in the morning and your net worth is going up 14%. It's nice, right?
Yeah. So can we move along?
Yes.
I forced someone to become a Bitcoiner this week.
Oh yes. Is this the
it's a colleague of mine?
Coffee.
Yes, a colleague of mine who is
man
sharing,
or woman?
Woman.
Okay. Not that it matters. I just am interested.
Yeah. Well, I do work in a library, so
woman.
Yeah. That's not sexist. It's just fact.
It's just true. It's fine. Men are allowed. It's just more likely not to be you.
Yes. So this colleague of mine is more than anyone I know that isn't a Bitcoiner is a Bitcoiner before.
Just based on other opinions.
Other opinions, the values that she holds, the stuff that she's kind of believes in, and we actually sort of talk about and share, and with all the kind of clown world shit that's going on. So I know she'll get there. But anyway, she bought me a coffee. She was awesome because I worked on a Saturday because someone... Oh, no. Anyway, I was working on a Saturday and she dropped me in a coffee and I'm like, oh, thanks, man. I'm going to pay you back in Bitcoin. She's like, oh, don't worry about it. And then on Monday, I forced her to download Muun and then transfer to some sats.
That's cool. And did she watch you do it?
She watched me do it, but there was a weird kind of error. So it wasn't instant.
I hate when that happens.
I know. I'm like, oh shit, this is not the best example, but it was still quick. And I'm like, there you go, you have. And she was pretty impressed. She was like, I'm like, you have Bitcoin.
So
over Lightning.
Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. And she's just going to sit on it now. She's got an app, and she just leave it.
And that's what I said. I said the beautiful thing is you don't know what the fuck to do with it or how to get rid of it. So
you're a hodler,
and I'm not going to help you get rid of it.
You're a hodler now. Yeah. The only thing, so just. So I got something onto Muun recently as well. First Bitcoin. But
is that the one you talked about a few pods ago? The girl, young girl? No, I haven't. That might have been Blue. She might have been Blue.
That was Blue. But and then for some reason, so Muun is a bit different. So Muun, you have. They've kind of abstracted away the difference between Bitcoin and Lightning. You can create a Bitcoin invoice or create a Lightning invoice within the same, within about one step of each other. Yep. It's great. I mean, it's really simple, right?
Yep.
But their seed phrase is not, what do you call it? BIP. What is it? 38?
39.
I don't even know what it is. The actual seed phrase list. Sorry, guys. I should know that. But
BIP 39, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway,
that sounds possible. This is where I just expose myself as a moron. Go on, have a look.
Yeah.
But this Muun don't use that. They use like it's like a 1 2 3 4 5 6 8 4 digits seed phrase. So like their own list. I don't really fully understand why that is.
Okay.
So, but when this is more like an apology to Muun because I was a little 39.
BIP 39.
Yeah, right. Sorry. Well done. God, this is getting worse.
It's embarrassing for you when I know something that you don't.
I know, that is not good. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so they use this their own seed phrase thing, so it's not compatible with any other wallet, which is a pain in the ass. But the person who was doing it, they then logged out, and every time they were logging in, they were having to restore their wallet with a seed phrase, and I'm like, oh, this is a nightmare.
On what? On Muun?
Muun. But if you just, it was my fault. If you just close the app without logging out, it does shut down, and then when you try and log back in, you just have a 4-digit code to log back in.
Yes.
So don't. If anybody else has done that, that was, and I would just, I don't know why I did it. But
I didn't even see anything about seed words or phrases or anything with Muun. So with
there's so if you're so there will be a backup seed phrase that
it didn't present it when I set her up.
Maybe I have to go through a an additional
or because I did Lightning.
No, it's still within Lightning.
Oh, really?
Well. Yeah,
okay.
It's the same wallet. Fantastic wallet, really cool, works. But the one thing I just don't really like is this using their own sort of seed phrase thing, because it's like, well, okay, but if I lose,
what is that? Yeah.
But like if I screw up, I can obviously restore my wallet in Muun, but I can't restore anywhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know why they do that. Maybe somebody smarter than me can tell me why they do that.
I don't know. People like it.
Oh, but because it's good, right? I wanted to talk about your tweet, which was
what?
I know.
Oh, hats.
Which is just because it's relevant to me. We live in a little place, and what did you say about our shop?
Oh, so I said something about, I said support your local businesses. They're struggling. Mm-hmm. That one
is that, and okay.
Yep, and that is our made up the road on the corner shop there, the top
They're
shop.
Closing?
No, but we just, I don't even know
how did it come up.
How it came up. Oh no, so he's done some kind of like, they got a new bench, and have you been up there? They got they've kind of jazzed up the little kind of shop front, or not the shop front, the service desk there a little bit.
Mm.
And he was kind of just mentioning how it's all falling apart, or has been falling apart. So
the shop is?
Yeah, or just bits. It's an old building.
Yeah.
And he's had to do this and had to do that. And then, I don't know how or why, but he just started talking about how it's just really, really tough. And no, that's what it was. I asked him how long he's been there, and he said like 8 or 9 years. And he's like, I don't know how much longer. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what's going on? He goes, it's, the first thing he said, inflation. He goes, inflation's really, really hitting us. There's the competition.
So his input cost or his stock cost, did he say? Or
didn't expand, but competition. So I'm guessing that's the kind of bigger guys like your Coles and your Woolies and whatnot else, because it's a petrol station as well. And he just went sort of saying, I said, what would you do? He goes, I'd probably get out of retail, and he didn't know what he'd do. And they're a lovely family, young girl, same age as our girls, and I don't know
that, but okay.
Yeah, I don't know where she goes to school, but and it's just sad, and that's only just from a passing conversation. It's not like he's always smiling and saying g'day and all that kind of stuff, and he's not alone, that's for sure.
Yeah, and
then I did, and I was probably not right of me, but I did kind of start talking about Bitcoin at the end.
Oh really?
Oh yeah.
And what happened there? Did he?
Oh, I just said, look, this is why I said this is why I save my money in Bitcoin. Basically, is how I phrased it.
Yeah.
And even he's like, oh yeah. He goes, because he's English is second language. Goes down, goes back up. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's it. I didn't. Say, hey, hand him a Jesus flyer or something like that. I'll be back around tomorrow. But that's a seed. That's just one person.
Yeah. All right, I'll go down tomorrow and say the same thing. Give him a second touch, and then
you don't accept Bitcoin, do you?
Yeah. That sucks.
It does suck.
And so it sucks in our little bubble, right? But we are comparatively getting off incredibly easy compared to the rest of the world right now.
I know.
Right, and you're feeling it, and I'm feeling it, right? And just costs of things that we buy, right?
Yep.
Petrol or whatever it might be, right? Supermarket shopping, and we are not like, what are inflation levels here, like 5 or 6, or something like that.
Yeah.
Something wherever we are. So, and that's CPI. I get it, guys. It's higher than that, but for places that are, UK's 10, or you go to, I don't know, Venezuela or Lebanon or Turkey, or like just awful.
Remember how I was talking about sort of increasing homelessness or homeless people coming into the library and stuff? Today I was at a it's like a northeast zone managers meeting thing up in Kempsey, and there's about 13 or 14 of us all sitting around, sort of going through your normal kind of crappy bullshit agenda of different items, all that kind of stuff, and everyone was talking about people's stress levels, and the increase in homeless in everywhere coming into the library. So it's not just here; it's everywhere.
Yeah, mate, it's everywhere, and it's
just starting. That's the saddest
I know,
thing.
I know. But
we can't do a depressing pod.
No.
We can't.
Well, all the things that we talk about, and then the answer is, but Bitcoin fixes it. I mean, it doesn't immediately change your life overnight, but working to taking a position, having some, and then that is the other side. It's an equation, right? And if something falls off on one side, then it goes up on the other, or scales or something, right? That if it falls off one side, so all this negativity we're talking about when we're talking about the negativity, that is in fiat world, right? So the flip is also true. Like, we're not just going to sit here and go, oh, it's amazing, like the words, because we have to tell people what the actual problem is. But the answer is Bitcoin, right? It's just that how many times can you say, well, the answer is Bitcoin on a podcast? Like, you can't do that, right? You have to talk about the issues. But so just quickly, so this was a tweet from, let me try and find out who it was from. Oh, it was actually Greg Foss, right? But
Greg Foss.
Greg Foss. Budgets do not balance them. This is 1st of September. Budgets do not balance themselves, right? This chart is very concerning. Now, it is it's the change in debt to GDP over what period? It was a little bit early, so it's a little bit out of date. I think it was Q4 2019 to Q3 2020. So that takes us through, COVID was March 2020, right?
Yep.
So it's through the March COVID problem.
Yep.
Okay, but change in debt to GDP. Canada, 80% change debt to GDP. Now, that's made up of household debt, non-financial corporate debt, and government debt, right? You with me still? Household debt?
Yeah.
Credit cards?
Yeah.
Mortgages, blah, blah, blah.
To GDP.
To GDP, right? So the debt is rising in proportion to the
gross
value.
domestic product, or whatever they call it. Yeah.
So, but Canada is at the top of the list at 80% in that period. So that is like not even a year, or I guess maybe it counts as a full year. But 80%, right? Then Japan, US, UK, China, New Zealand, Euro area, Malaysia, blah blah blah, all down. So we're going down from sort of 80 down to maybe 35% there. Australia. Now, it's a list of not all countries in the world. There's maybe 25 countries on this. Australia is at the bottom of that list. And it actually went, the household debt improved. Right? So, now, there is a caveat to this, is Australia is one of the few countries to see its household debt decline over the year. This is possibly due to an early access scheme that allowed millions of Australians to make withdrawals from the superannuation, right? Okay? So people took money out of their pension, were allowed to take money out of their pension.
Yeah, but I wonder...
as a COVID relief response, I guess.
Yeah, which I did.
Right.
Sorry, my wife did. Does it say what the percentage of the population actually took that up?
It doesn't in this, but the improvement is like 4 or 5% on a household debt. Now, it's still the non-financial corporate debt increased, still, and the government debt massively increased, but even overall, it was only like a 12-13% increase in Australia, right? So my point is, for as bad as we think it is, it's so much fucking worse for other people.
Yeah.
And we just have to be aware of that. And
well, there's no real rioting on the streets here, so there's a difference.
No, but you can see why, right?
Yeah.
Like I look at my own country. There's bin men are striking in Edinburgh, so like literally the bins aren't being collected, and there's just shit all over the place, and like garbage flowing down the street, and postmen are on strike, or rail workers are on strike, or dock workers are on strike, or the teachers, the nurses, everyone is on strike. Why? Because their inflation numbers are abysmal, and why? Because now there's two issues. There's the money printing issue, which is obviously the big issue, but then there's also the COVID response issue, right? Now, leading out from that, see if I can find it. So, the COVID response. No, that's the wrong one. The COVID response in the UK was like they called it a furlough scheme, right? So the job. What did we call it here? Job keeper.
Job keeper, yeah.
Job keeper.
Job seeker, job keeper, or both.
Seeker was for unemployed, keeper was for employed.
Yep.
So the same thing, right? But that, I'm going to
Chop up, no?
in a minute. But that scheme cost £70 billion in the UK.
Wow.
Right? Now, the energy response, because the energy bills are just going through the roof over there now. But so the new Prime Minister just came in, is being forced to, I don't like the lady, but whatever, doesn't make any difference. She's being forced, it doesn't matter which side of politics, they're being forced to have some sort of energy relief package for individuals and small businesses and eventually big businesses, right? But bear in mind, furlough scheme, £70 million.
Billion.
Billion pounds. They're now talking about 130 billion to freeze household energy bills, right? And it could be north of that, right? Bearing in mind that the NHS budget, the National Health Service budget over there, is 170 billion. It's basically the whole NHS.
Wow.
They're not quite, but I probably will get there. The whole budget of health, which is in itself greater than 5% of the GDP,
yeah,
is going to be thrown at this energy problem, right? And even still, they're not prepared to engage in any form of diplomacy with Russia. Like that's madness. And that's not like I think Russia are in the right. Okay,
there was a country that said, or a rep from a country that said something about we'll get gas from wherever we've got to get gas. I don't know if that might have been India or Pakistan or something like that. Did you see that one?
Oh, like they will, in the sense that they will buy from Russia.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I don't know if the direct question was, will you buy off Russia? But this particular response was, we will get gas wherever we need to get gas.
What are you going
and at what point does the UK, Europe, whatever, just go, we're fucked, we have to?
So right now the response is we'll just print billions and just and I mean this, we're going to put a cap on energy prices from Russia. Like the thought process there is unbelievably what's the word I'm looking for, like
short-sighted,
or like it's thinking they even have that power to do that, right?
Yeah.
What's the word? Anyway, you're a librarian, man. You tell me. But the it's just incredible that they believe that they can. Like, let's say you run a little coffee shop, right? And
thinking about it,
right? Well, it's probably good. It's good markup in coffee. Well, it used to be. You run a little coffee shop. Come on.
So I did actually, not thinking that I would legitimately do that, but I paid $6.50 for coffee down at a place in my little town. Mm-hmm. We talked about this. I'm like, some cafe came along and just went, right, $4 coffees. Up here, they'd kill it. If they're good coffees, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But
your margin's less.
Yeah, it's just, that's just a question of whether you want to have a big long queue and lots of work, or a shorter queue and more margin.
Well,
it depends.
People will pay $4 for.
Oh, there will be now people willing to go to the cheaper coffee. Definitely, right? Just the same as pizza shops do well in a recession.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I'm doing a cafe
so
shop.
You've got a little coffee shop, right? And you've got I don't know, 100 customers a day, right? And then 7 of those customers said, well, we're going to put let's charge $5 for your coffee, right? Well, we're putting a price cap. We don't like you. We're putting a price cap on your coffee at, $4. What do you do?
Tell them to fuck off.
Hello, Mr. Putin.
Yeah.
Does that make you a bad man? Does it? I mean, like, it's just it's just maths, right?
So what does that mean though? Like an actual freeze, right? If they're going to do how many billions did you say?
Oh, well, this is just the UK.
Well, that's what was it? 70.
No, so they're. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, it's changing by the minute, but right now they're saying the number is £130 billion.
But that £130 billion is what a majority of that would be going to pay the energy companies, wouldn't it?
Well, what it's going to do is cap. Oh, we'll see. What they're proposing it's going to do is cap the energy bills for households.
Yeah, so
I think they're talking about £2,500 a year.
But basically, what they're doing is subsidising those
bills.
Yeah,
it's a subsidy
by giving it to saying, well, look, we're good for the remainder of these bills. Yeah.
So it's socialising the whole economy. Really, I mean, like it's the same as.
So if my cafe said we're putting a cap on your price, the price of your coffee.
The customer said that.
Yeah, and then the guy next to him said, "Yeah, I've got it." I'm like, "Fucking whatever."
Yeah, I'll take that. Oh yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you pay.
Yeah, I don't care.
You think
I'm still getting the same amount?
You think there's not going to be oil and gas that goes to China and gets sold from on with a markup?
Yeah.
Like
that's a good point, actually.
Oh, like, of course. It's just arbitrary. What do you think all these people on eBay do, or the drop shippers on Amazon? The reason they do it is because they can buy something cheaper somewhere and they can sell it more expensive.
What do you call it? Drop shippers?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That means you don't even. That's the thing where people they don't don't have a product.
Oh, they're like the middle.
Yeah, they just like all right. They go to Alibaba and they find out they can find combs on Alibaba for 2 cents and they can sell it on eBay for 14, and they don't even buy them. They just drop ship them in straight into the Amazon or eBay. eBay's not so much Amazon. Yeah, like Amazon. Yeah, so people make the order. It's just like what you call it? Almost like just in time, like print on demand T-shirts, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
right? They don't have a warehouse, a store, nothing. It's just an arbitrage opportunity. It's just like somewhere. It's the same in Bitcoin. If you could buy on one exchange and you could sell on another exchange, it was a different price. You'd do it all day.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? It's free money.
They're fucking boring though.
Well, okay, until you're, whatever. Like sitting in your mansion in your helicopter. I don't know, but people were going to do it.
Yeah.
If there is an obvious way, so it is just a subsidy. Scotland again came out today or yesterday and said that there's going to be a rent freeze for private and social tenants across Scotland until March 2023. Now, people, if they're still listening, are going to be going, well, that's great for the people. Yeah, in the short term.
Yeah.
In the short term, that's probably.
Have they announced? Is that started?
As of today, yeah.
As of today, a rent freeze.
Rent freeze. No, not like you don't pay.
No. I know. It doesn't go any.
Can't go up.
Higher. Yeah. I get that. I am stupid, but
no, sorry, I wasn't. But yeah. So that's fine. That gives some people some short-term relief. But what it actually does is it breaks the free market that's operating there, right? Supply and demand matters. Like you massively increase the supply of something, and the demand doesn't change. The price is going to go down. You massively decrease the supply of something, demand doesn't change. The price will go up. Like how have we lost this basic knowledge? And then if you get some middleman or government stepping in to subsidise the market, what you get is an Australian car market where you subsidise whatever it was Holden down in Geelong.
Yeah. Or Ford.
No,
it was Holden. I think it was Holden.
Oh, we're gonna hurt somebody's feelings.
I don't care. I'm not a car guy.
I'm not either. But you subsidise the market for long enough, and then eventually, all you just do is there is a problem, and you're just making the problem bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, so that when it bursts, it's a nightmare. Rather than accepting the realities and going, okay, this is uncompetitive.
Yeah,
we have to move. We have to do something else. Now, you could argue that, like, I don't know if it's oil and gas or energy supplies, let's just trigger people, energy supplies in general, or medical supplies or something. It makes sense to pay a premium if you have to keep some of the production of those things within your own country. Certainly not outsourcing them to a country that potentially is an adversary, right? Or adversary.
Adversary.
Yeah, whatever.
No, adversary.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah. So that it does make sense to pay a premium, but the customer should be paying the premium, right? Not the state. And then we would ultimately, because when we say the state's paying, who do you think is paying? Like this 130 billion that the UK are about to throw at energy companies, right? Where do you think?
That coming?
Do you think they just found that around the back of the Houses of Parliament or something? Like, they just create it.
Yeah.
So whose debt is that? What's the people's debt? Who pays the people's debt? The people. How do they pay it in tax?
This is like a Jack Mallers rant. Hats, I like it.
Sorry.
No, fucking keep going.
That's
That's good.
Like, people are just not thinking of they're thinking, oh, this helps this one issue immediately. But they're not thinking of, okay, but what does that mean? And if you do that, what does that mean?
But when the masses feel like they're benefiting from it, then
that's terrible. Well, ultimately, it leads to complete control and tyranny.
Yes,
that's where it leads.
Yeah, but they don't have. They're not looking far enough ahead. But then they're kind of being conditioned to not do so.
Completely.
We're fucked. This is a sad pod again.
But on the other side of the equation, right? It's like this is all those things we're just talking about are about, creating new money. Okay?
Yes.
But so what is this? If the problem is the creating the new money, then the solution is don't create new money. Okay? I mean, this is not that's not a revelation for anybody, hopefully. If the problem is creating new money, then the solution is not creating new money. So the short answer is, if you're not a Bitcoiner, is governments have to stop creating new money. Central banks, right?
Yes.
They're not going to, because they cannot. The only way they pay their current interest bill is by creating new money.
Yeah.
Right? They're all insolvent. All of them. They're just different levels of insolvent. Right? So governments are not going to stop creating new money. Well, the ones that have the power to, the ones who can actually print their currency. Like you can't, if you're Italy, you're screwed because you're in the euro and you're doing what you're told, right? Or whatever, pick your place. Or some country that's using the US dollar as their currency. They're getting zero benefit from all the printing, and they're definitely getting screwed, right?
And they're the first countries that should be looking. If they're
yes,
not,
the little ones, yeah. So, problem is create the money. Solution is don't create the money. That's not going to happen in fiat. Where is it going to happen?
Yeah.
So the answer is, what things are there out there that we cannot create more of? Right? Maybe like priceless art. A Mona Lisa, right? Great. If you can afford the Mona Lisa, go buy the Mona Lisa. It's probably going to do fine. There's only one.
Yeah.
We're not going to subdivide it and start all spending it in the shop. It's not digital.
Pretty fucking small. We can't really cut it
you've
up.
seen it, right?
Yeah.
Were you impressed?
Tiny. No.
Oh, is it small?
It's really small. Like, it's way smaller. It would be... Oh, this is not good for a pod. Probably that,
A4?
Probably that. Oh, no. Like, maybe an A3. It's not big.
Oh, right.
But like the massive crowd of people...
You can barely see it.
You can't get up the front.
How close can you get?
Huh?
How close do you get to it?
Oh, it'd be... I think it's a good... probably 3 to 4 meter box around it. So it's a fair distance away. But the funniest thing that I found was that there was huge crowds, and so you couldn't even get up to see it. But everyone was taking a photo of themselves with the Mona Lisa and not just looking at the Mona Lisa.
Amazing.
So they come up, squeeze in, take a photo, and then go.
I love those sports ones. Like, see when you see a picture of like Tiger Woods at the Masters, and everybody in the background has got their camera taking a picture of it, and there's just one guy with his arms folded watching.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
Definitely.
Just take it in, man. Like, that's why you're there. Like, otherwise, what are you doing? You're just doing it to show somebody you did it.
Yeah.
Right? It's just a...
Well, it's like virtue signaling, I suppose.
That's it, right? So do not take my word for this, people. Listen to the President of the European Central Bank, Christine Lagarde, on the 4th of December.
Is this the one?
2021.
Yes.
Here we go.
An inflation profile which looks like a hump. So it has clearly increased over the last 3 quarters. And we know how painful it is. We know that, life is more expensive as a result, particularly for those people who have low income and who are more exposed to prices rising, particularly when, you fill up the tank. But we see it as a hump, and a hump eventually declines. And this is what we project for 22, that inflation will decline over the course of 22.
Do you know what?
What month are we, Brendan?
Yeah, September. When I heard that, I went 22?
Yeah.
But she doesn't even sound confident in that.
No, definitely not. She didn't believe it.
No.
It's quite hard to sound confident in something you don't believe.
22.
We're in September.
But if she's going to lie, which she is, at least make it sound a bit realistic. Say end of 23 or, early 24. Don't go 22 when it's fucking September.
Well, no, but bear in mind that was from December 21.
Oh, okay.
So that's when she said it.
I'm sorry.
No, but it's all right. But so that's when she said it. So she was saying there's a year. By the end of the year, at that time, she was saying we're over the hump and things are going to start to look better.
So is that just come up recently because people have tagged her in it and said, "What are you?"
People like me.
Yeah. And no response.
I don't think she's caring. But I mean, that's just you're one of two things. It goes back to you're absolutely incompetent, or you're nefarious,
or willfully deceptive.
Yeah. Right? It's one of the two. You can't be anything else, right? So, and ultimately, she is right. Inflation is always a hump. It does come back once people are dead. Once the consumption is completely gone.
Yeah.
Once the demand side of the equation is broken completely,
because nobody can afford to do anything.
That's it. That's exactly it. So, I mean, you don't have to take our word for it, people. You just have to. Oh, sorry, got Christine back again. Dylan Leclerc, Bank of England. Let me read you something from Dylan.
I always feel hungry when I read his tweets.
Because it says
Leclerc, but eclair, yeah. It's like,
I'd never thought that, but now I'm going to.
Yeah,
so I quite like an eclair.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
What's those little round ones, the little mini eclair, what are they called again?
I don't know, but the way you're holding your hands looks like you're about to suck on a cock.
Wow. What are those things called? Profiteroles.
Oh shit, yeah. Yeah.
I know they're Fiat food guys, but what can I tell you?
Tell me what you think about hot dogs.
No, I'm not a fan.
No, I'm just trying to get you to do the hand again.
Who is it that does the joke about vaping? And it's like, when I think it's maybe a Kevin Bridges. So when people used to go out for a smoke, this is good for a pod too. Used to put two fingers together and sort of wave them in front of your mouth to go, I'm going to go out for a smoke.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
oh yeah.
Like looking across the bar, like how do you describe that for the people, right? And you can imagine with a vape and like, then you get, they keep pointing people at the bar. Oh, that guy's a friendly guy. Let's go. Anyway, like that. Dylan Profiterole said from the bank. This is from the Bank of England. The bank intends to set minimum levels for the bid prices, maximum yields it's willing to accept as a backstop, in support of its objective not to disrupt the functioning of financial markets. This backstop will be set at a level such that it would not be expected to bind regularly, but would allow the bank to respond to evidence of particularly weak demand within the auction by reducing the amount of supplies in those conditions. Holy shit.
I don't know what the fuck that means.
Okay, what it means is if nobody's going to buy our bonds, we're going to buy our bonds. Right? Japan. That's what that means. Yield curve control. That is the Bank of England saying we are going to, if it's necessary, we are going to conduct
buy our own bonds.
Yeah, so you understand what that means?
Well, no, because what the fuck does that actually mean?
So a government bond.
I know the part about bonds being, we'll guarantee you, a 1%, a stupid low return. So, but a government buying their own bonds, what's the point of that?
Great question. It's hard to explain the indefensible. So the way the government raises their finances is by selling a government bond to either individuals or the open market or to other countries, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you've got a 2-year bond or a 10-year bond or a 5-year, but whatever, right? And each of them will have their individual interest rates. And you go, oh well, okay, well I've got $10,000 in the world. I want to. I think the UK is good for it this year. I'm going to buy a 2-year UK bond, and I'm going to get my interest off whatever the percentage is, right? But when all of you stop buying those bonds, and so they have to do that to raise the money they require to pay the interest on the previous bonds.
Yeah,
Ponzi scheme, anyone, to pay the interest and also to fund their spending in society, right?
Yeah.
But when all the buyers dry up, because they're like, oh, I don't think the UK is looking that great right now. I don't know that I really want theirs anymore. You still have to sell them. Right?
Right.
So how do you sell them? Well, you sell them to yourself. You just create the money out of thin air.
To buy them.
To buy a bond.
But
from yourself.
Is that not just smoke and mirrors in a way? Because
of course it is.
Yeah.
It's just another form of quantitative easing.
Yeah,
it's just as the burr. Because that's
so they're printing anyway. But is that a way to make it more palatable for
Well, what that's saying is that if there are no buyers, when there are no buyers, we'll be the buyer. And that's to make the market go, oh well, it's not.
It's all good.
It's all good. We're good for it, guys. It is exactly the same thing as you've got a credit card with $1,000, right?
Yeah.
The interest payments have become a bit too much for you, so you go. When that was with a NAB, so you go to Commonwealth and say, I need a credit card.
Yeah.
And you use the Commonwealth credit card to pay off the bill on the NAB credit card.
Yeah.
But the rate that you got on the Commonwealth credit card was worse because your financial position was worse. So you can't pay the Commonwealth one. So you go, oh shit, I'm going to go along, and that's fine. Whilst there's another bank to keep going to, but until eventually somebody says, nah, sorry, champ.
Yeah.
You're not good for it.
Yeah.
The whole house of cards falls in its face.
Wow.
But that is what Japan have been doing for years and years and years. But now it's the UK coming out and saying they're going to be doing it too.
So tell me about Japan then. So if Japan's been doing it for years and years and years, how does it fall down?
So the Japanese I think I'm right in saying, are more than 50%. I'd have to check this, but I think they might 50% own their own market. Like they've bought their, all of it or nearly. They're getting their way to owning the whole thing.
Wow.
So essentially, it's just a zombie economy. And how you can see that is, do you remember when you were younger, you used to see a lot of Japanese tourists?
Yeah.
And remember how, like, today you don't?
Yeah, wow. I've never thought of that.
But it's the truth, isn't it?
It is the truth. Holy shit.
Right? And remember when the Gold Coast, I wasn't here, I didn't live in here then, but the Gold Coast changed their signs to there was actually dual language signs so that to be because they wanted to attract the Japanese tourists in. And now
have they still got those signs?
I don't know, but they should probably be collectors. There's a scarce item probably.
Yeah.
a Japanese Gold Coast sign to God knows where. Yeah.
I wonder, do they still even have the meter mates? Remember the meter maids?
I don't know what that is.
So Gold Coast was famous for having meter maids who they were like these like scantily clad girls that had kind of in a charitable way just go
scantily clad in a charitable way.
Yeah, no, didn't finish my sentence.
I like those girls.
I think they'd
hi girls,
put money in the meters for people and that was a promotional kind of thing about
like your car parking.
Yeah.
Oh.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that, but all I remember as a kid was just the boobs and the tight lycra.
No, I'm
sorry.
Good. I didn't.
Meter mate, I didn't know you knew about that. So it probably doesn't exist then if you don't know about it, because you're a pervert.
Where am I on this? Is there anything else? I did have something positive.
All right. Well, we might. You want to wrap this one up?
Yeah. Two things then. Okay.
Yep.
You know what the Mayer multiple is?
Oh, no, yeah, hang on. Yeah, you've explained it to me, and now I've forgotten.
So it looks at
the 4-year thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it looks at the 200-week moving average, and then looks at the price and today and how it compares to the price over the course of the history of Bitcoin, and says, based on all the other days, what does today look like?
Yeah.
So basically, I just looked at it today, so this is TIP Mayor Multiple account on Twitter. If you want to have a look, you'll get it every day. It's the Mayor Multiple has historically been higher, 97.66% of the time. So what I mean, high and higher is good. So it's a tremendous buying opportunity right now. If you believe in Bitcoin, and you believe Bitcoin is coming back,
and you believe in the Mayor Multiple model. I mean, it's like stock to flow.
Yeah, I mean but it's just it's not a. I mean, don't make all your decisions based on it. It's just a graphic interpretation of where we are. I mean, you decide you like it or you don't like it, doesn't matter. But based on where we've been in all the other days compared to today, you were 97.66% of the time. 97.66% of the time.
Yeah,
it's been higher. So I mean, it's a good day to buy Bitcoin. And finally, I just got a tweet of the week on this one. I think I sent you this. Fabushka. This is.
Oh, Fabushka. That's Aber, isn't it?
Keep
Fabushka, going. Yeah. Oh no, that's Kate Bush or something.
She came back recently.
She did Stranger Things.
Why
no, that's Babushka. That's a Kate Bush song.
It sounded nothing like that though.
Oh, Fabushka. Oh, fuck off! It does. I can sing. Just ask Daz.
Yeah. This is just shithousery of the highest order. Shithousery, is that the word I'm looking for?
Shit. Coinery. No. Shit fuckery.
Trolling. Trolling of the. This is the highest order trolling, right? Breaking. The European division of Russia's oldest tour operator, Intourist, I think that says, started offering winter tour packages to Russia for EU citizens. The package includes unlimited hot showers, daily visits to Sundunovskaya Banya, which I looked up and is like the hot baths in Moscow, and a heated room with electricity. Enjoy your wonderful holiday, people. You're off to Moscow. It's been going to be wonderful. I mean, it's just funny. I mean, I know it's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end it there.
That's all I've got.
Do you want to put the aircon on?
I can't afford the aircon, man.
See ya.